Greetings. I'm so happy that you could join me today for a conversation and for us to start on a journey, or even someone that you know, to join us as we strategize, come together, and build a future. And I know your question is on today, what are we building a future for and why? And so I want to let you know the purpose of you being here today is to discuss the experiences that children who are in the foster care system have revolving around their challenges that they face in school, in their as far as academics, and how their experience in the foster care system affects their learning and places obstacles in their way for future and economic growth. So as we know, we have children experiencing foster care have revolving challenges that impact their focus and gainful understanding. It affects the material and how they receive the material and relate to the material that is relevant for economic growth. Foster care children, they deal with a lot of school mobility, which means a lot of moving around, risk of being moved in the middle of the school year. They have exclusionary discipline on most cases, and they face the academic challenge of completion and continued education and relatability in their way of finding their root, other than being left behind. So those that do catch up, and in some cases still have a lot of catching up to do. But how can we connect to this? How can we get to the root of this? And in studies and looking into how it has been approached before, children in their academics, in these specific challenges, we are looking at the connectivity and the socialization in our current world, which is based on ideological literacy. So it's not just the reading and the writing, but it evolves and continues to carry over into multiple medias that we use every day to communicate, grow, and understand our culture that surrounds us today. And that the knowledge and understanding needed for the communicative acts that shape our social economic circumstances. And when kids lack that understanding or that connectivity, it is much easier for them to continue to be disconnected and fall behind in understanding, and therefore lacking even the lifestyle skills and gifts needed to carry on successfully in our culture. So the gap how can we bridge this gap? And a theory and things that we want to attack here is, after that research and looking at the disconnect, is that we can bridge the gap by aiding in these resources. But how? Because we want to dig deeper and look at the real obstacles. And it comes down to association, acceptance, and achievement. Why is this relevant? Because when we're looking at association, we are looking at stability, accountability, and advocation. When we're looking at accountability, we are looking at the cultivated community to help explore and establish esteem within children who are experiencing foster care. And then these achievement is propelled by the association and acceptance culture that is surrounding them, providing even more stability, even more cultivated community, even more drive to go after and continue towards progress and living with a purpose. So we know that based off these studies, the real key here is community. So how do we do this? We want to look at the interests and actions, because they dictate our assimilation and associations. So we want to build the community. We want to educate partners, for one, on the situation on a deeper level and the circumstances, getting a view of the children, their perspective, but also advocates, administrators, school teachers, and community centers, those that surround us, so that we understand the current view of children who are experiencing foster care. What are the resources that are going in and allowed by rules, policies, and regulations, and those things that can be helped and aided even further by the community, by those who can step in with knowledge and understanding to help with this cause, so that we can build, so that we can work on the education of not just school, mainly school, because our but mainly school, because our children that's where they spend most of their days, and where we want them to get their learning, where we want them to be motivated to cultivate their minds with that focus and apply in the real world. And so, with this in the community and the schools coming together to bridge that gap, the education that is suffering, but we would then and we would then be helping combat the impact that on their growth in their future. Okay, so I'm asking you, join me. Aid in the future of children who are experiencing foster care. Let's start this conversation and follow with actions that help build a future. Thank you.